This is it already. Okay, good evening. It's just after 7 o'clock. It is Thursday, January 13th. Thank you very much. Thursday, January 13th, 2022. And this is the Urbanna Town Council work session. And we will also start with a public hearing. Before we start, however, I want to make sure everyone can hear me.
Hey, Margie.
Okay. All right, before we start, I need to go through the electronic participation script because we have some members who are attending via Zoom. Okay, so I have called to order. We do have a quorum here. We have 4 live people here, so we have a quorum and we can do this.
I was live when I got here.
You were live when you got here, okay. So I've received a request from 2 council members to participate electronically, and those are Mary Hampson and Bill Smith. And let's see. Bill, you have a reason for attending electronically. Mr. Smith. Can you hear me?
We may have COVID in the house. My wife is running a temperature that continues to go up. I felt it would be unsafe for me to come in and expose anybody if I've been exposed also.
Okay, we appreciate that. Thank you very much. And Mary, your reason?
I am again attending from Berkeley, California, where I am supporting the cancer treatment of my infant grandson.
Thank you very much.
I'll make a motion to accept their electronic.
All right,
Second.
motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, I'll call for a vote.
Aye.
Oh, Larry says aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Yes, and Mayor says yes. Okay, motion passed. Thank you very much. You may participate. Also zooming in is our town attorney, Andrea Arard. Hello. Okay, and also present we have, I haven't called roll here.
No.
Marjorie Austin.
Here.
Oh, Smith.
Here.
Larry Jr. And we already know that Bill Smith and Mary Hanson are here. And we have 1 absent member, and that is Steve Holbrook. And sitting over here at the table of honor, we have our town administrator, Garth Wheeler, our town zoning administrator, Roy Kime, and our clerk. Who is okay, thank you very much. Now, let us proceed with Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
America,
and
and
to
to
the
the
republic
republic for which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible, with
liberty and
liberty
justice
and
for all.
justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, and we have an agenda before us, and all members here have seen the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve agenda.
Okay, second. All right, so Marjorie,
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
And Mary?
Yes,
And Mayor too, okay. Agenda is approved. We'll move into public hearing now. All right,
One of the things that is required if we are to make an application to the USDA for a loan for the well that we are required to put in by the Virginia Department of Health, is that we have a public hearing just to inform the public that we are going to apply for this loan. And this loan is going to be in the area of about $1.1 million, big loan, but we can get it for a 40-year term for 1 3/4%, which is about as best as we're going to be able to do any place. We would try to apply for grants for this activity. We have too high an income level, which is not really very high, but in the town of Urbana. So in order to even apply for this loan, we have to have this public hearing and let the town know that we're doing it. We wouldn't be putting this well in if we weren't required to. But that's what we have to do. And we have very strong indications that this application will be accepted. The town administrator will have to look over some documents with the town attorney tomorrow to see that we can comply with all their wishes. But that's about it. I mean, it's something we have to do, and this is the way we can afford to do it.
Okay. Thank you, Roy. Do we have any comments or questions from anyone?
There may be one thing, Madam Mayor, is that we may need a motion later on to authorize Garth to make those signatures on those applications. So whether we do that during a public hearing or not, I'm not sure.
First, we would open the public hearing, conduct the public hearing, close the public hearing, and then vote.
Thank you.
Okay.
And thanks for the reminder, Bill.
I told you I didn't know.
All right, now you do. Okay, any other comments, questions?
Are we doing this now?
We have to come out of public hearing.
Have we advertised?
Yeah.
Okay. Other question. Things that we have to comply to, they have to look over. Is there anything that we might not be able to comply to? I think we will be able to do everything. Okay. Just taking on a big hunk of debt. Yeah, well, we did before.
And Roy, you have been in contact with the administrator of this loan almost daily. Walking you through all the steps and all the things we needed to make the application.
It's ready to go.
Okay, there you go.
It's something that should be noted, I guess, as part of the public hearing, is that part of the exercise that we went through in changing the water rates, et cetera, was to generate enough cash flow that we would be able to pay for a loan, and to keep in mind that the water is a separate entity from the rest of the town business. It's its own entity with its own income and outgo, and it will be judged independently from other things that the town wants to do. And the money is there because of the structure that we did. Does that summarize it well enough, Bill?
But it's not only.
Yeah, it did.
It was to be eligible for one. Isn't that right?
Yes, all of that.
But the monies that are spent and collected for our water system are separate from the general fund, is what you're saying.
Correct.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. Anything else?
I'd just like to comment that I commend Bill and Roy and everybody on the water committee, because they have really worked hard to look at alternatives and to find grant funding and done a lot of things for at least 6 months to try to offset costs. And then, ultimately applying for this loan and working with the USDA. So they've really looked after, or tried to look after the town's interests.
Thank you, Garth. And I can say this about Bill Smith. It's been more than 6 months he's been working on this. It's been 2 years, because he started working on this in the last administration. And it took a while to find some pathways, and that was part of the process. Thank you very much. All right, so if there's no other comment, we can come out of public hearing. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Motion made.
Yes.
Several times.
Okay.
Yes.
The motion is to authorize Garth to execute the necessary documents subject to review and approval by the town attorney.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
I'll second.
Yes. Okay, motion's been made and seconded, and now we'll take a vote.
Yes.
Marjorie says yes.
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
Bill Smith?
Yes.
Mary Hanson?
Yes.
And Mayor says yes. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Okay, takes care of that part. Let us now look at approval of the minutes. Everyone received them?
Yes, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for November 18th, 2021 and January 5th, 2022. As presented.
Thank you.
Second.
I think that, the January 5th minutes perhaps should reflect that the meeting of December 16th was called off because of, COVID activities. Otherwise, we have a hole in our minutes and agendas.
Oh, that's true.
Okay, so we should, does someone want to make an amended motion that we include that item of information
I'll
in?
make an amendment to the January 5th, 2022 to include that the December 16th meeting was canceled due to staff illness.
Thank you. Do we have a second to that amendment?
I'll say.
Okay, so now we will vote on accepting the amended version. So Marjorie?
Yes.
Bill Goldsmith?
Yes.
Larry Junior?
Yes.
Bill Smith?
Yes,
Mary Hanson?
Yes,
And Mayor votes yes. And now we vote to do the full motion, which includes that amendment, correct? It's already been made and seconded. Go ahead, Marjorie.
Yes.
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 Bill, Larry,
Yes.
Bill Smith,
yes.
and Mary.
yes.
And Mayor votes yes. Okay, thank you very much. So that was a lot of work to get through the approval of the minutes, but we did it. Okay, let's move on to reports. Garth, you want to give the administrator's report?
Under new office move, we're in the process of moving the town office to our new location at Waverly Commons. We've had a contractor making renovations to the space, expanding council chambers, creating a conference room, and getting DMV space set up. Our plan is to close the office Friday, January 28th, and Monday, January 31st, and then reopen for business at the new location Tuesday, February 1st. The progress of DMV Select, the position of the DMV Select clerk was advertised. We had approximately 30 applicants. The top 3 candidates were chosen and interviewed by the Personnel Committee. 2 of those candidates were recommended for interview by Town Council. A candidate was recommended for hire, and after completing a background check, Mary Bell Kimball was offered the job and has accepted. Her first day of employment is scheduled for Monday, January 24th. DMV personnel were here this past Tuesday, setting up the computers and working with IT staff up at the new office space to have the system operational. DMV Select is scheduled to go live Monday, February 14th. DMV personnel will be working with us the first week of opening to ensure equipment is operational and staff is properly trained. The week prior to that, our appointment system will become operational and our DMV Select location will be advertised. The Town Marina Bridge, we're still waiting for Bay Design to complete their architectural study of the bridge. No new information to update at this time. The Christmas parade update. The Urbanna Christmas parade was a big success. And I'd like to thank Lois Brooks and all of the volunteers that worked so hard to put this annual event together. Our very own Larry Tuning was the Grand Marshal. If your group of business was a winner, you can pick up your award plaques at the town office. We've got still got several to give out. Volunteer appreciation reception. We had discussed having a reception for our many volunteers in the month of January, and this has had to be rescheduled due to COVID and flu illnesses in the area, and we're hoping to hold this event in March. And I want to take the opportunity to thank our volunteers for their selfless dedication to the town. And we look forward to honoring them when we hold this event. The pool project, as council is aware, the pool committee has had numerous meetings over the past months and has met with various companies in an effort to develop a comprehensive plan regarding the pool construction that will best serve the needs of the town, both recreationally and financially. This will be discussed further later in the meeting, and council will be going into closed session to discuss contractual issues to continue this project moving forward. The boat ramp Docks of the Bay has brought their equipment into Urbanna Creek to begin working on the extension of the boat ramp, and they're starting to work on Montague's marina, and they've ordered all the necessary supplies for the boat ramp for this project. And in fact, they're going to be using the property owned by the town down at the bottom of Virginia Street as a staging area. Virginia Street Pier project, this project has been on hold, so council could consider public comments and consider various options for improvement that have been suggested. Council members and staff have reached out to members of the community for input. After careful consideration, this project is scheduled to be placed on the agenda for the January 27th council meeting. A public hearing will be held at the beginning of the meeting, and it is anticipated that council will consider at least 3 options at that meeting and make those presentations, and the options will be made public as soon as possible prior to the meeting. Town marina upgrades, we have recommendations being drafted for remodeling of some of the slips at the town marina, and we plan to present these to the finance committee, which will then ultimately be brought before council for consideration at the next meeting. And this concludes my report.
Thank you. Too bad you haven't been very busy lately. Thank you very much for your hard work. Okay, do we have a finance committee?
Finance committee and pool committee are sort of melded together in that we're going to need to go into closed session to discuss projects and funding for pool and other items. And there's a closed session packet that we'll get into later.
Okay, that's good. Thank you very much. So that takes,
You skip the treasurer's report.
You want the treasurer's report?
sure.
Okay. Account balances through 12/31/21. Under the premise bank operating bank account, we have $835,159.96. The renter water deposits, $14,401.66. The net operating general bank account, $820,530.42. The Truist Historic Trust, $21,796.47. The pool replacement account, $36,762.79. The bank water fund reserve, $113,910.53. The premise general fund reserve, $94,703.89. And the premise bank cares local recovery fund, which is the ARPA funding, is $237,641.77. As of last month, the Tabor Trust account was $1,443,527.19. Meals tax collected in December, $9,318.41, and lodging tax collected for December was $1,250.60. And Current real estate taxes collected, $14,695. Personal property tax, $4,094.57. And lodging, and I've already done the lodging tax and the meals tax, so that concludes the treasurer's report.
Okay, thank you very much.
It should be pointed out also that we have draft of the 2021 and 2020 audits that we will be reviewing with
Oh, good.
auditors. So that's moving right along.
Good, that's a question that comes up every single month. Yay, thank you. Okay, any questions on anything so far? Okay, so let's see, Bill Smith, did you see is there water committee report or not?
Yeah, it's just a short one. Most of it's covered during the public hearing on the USDA loan. Of course, you know, we've been approved. We have a conference call tomorrow to go through some finer points. I think it's tomorrow morning at 10. And next item is the flushing of the fire hydrants within the town. That's going to be put off till spring. We don't want to have a huge skating rink here in town. It would be fun, but it wouldn't be good. Other than that, the water system upgrades, of course, at the last committee report, we sent AH Environmental a request to estimate the cost on a 5-phase infrastructure upgrade, which would include 10 additional fire hydrants and relocation of 2, and upgrading our lines to a sufficient diameter to bring us up to current standards for water service and fire suppression. We received that document from AH. It was very professional. The water committees in the middle of reviewing it. This is a draft proposal that they sent us. If we don't, so far 3 out of 4 have said go. That we'll send it into, we'll release AH Environmental to do a final document. And when the final document is done, we'll bring it up to the council to let them know what those costs of the infrastructure upgrades will actually be, or close to it, an estimate of.
Is that it?
That's it.
Yay, thank you very much. Okay, do we have a report from the planning commission?
Yes, sort of. And I say that because we were scheduled to meet on Tuesday night, the 11th, and had to reschedule due to illness and one member who was not able to attend. The agenda for our meeting, which has been rescheduled to next Tuesday, is what day is that? Tuesday the 17th? 18th, Tuesday the 18th. Tuesday the 18th at 7 p.m. It will be via Zoom, so just so that people know. But the agenda for that meeting is we're continuing to work on reviewing and updating the comprehensive report, or the comprehensive plan rather, that needs to be reviewed and updated periodically, and we're chipping away at that at each meeting. That effort is being led by Roy, our zoning administrator, and Hank Dutton. And so we will continue to chip away at that. There is one project that we've been asked to look at. Don Dreyer is going to be presenting the research of John and Christy Anzavino and Sue Warner related to the mapping that they've done of street signs throughout Urbanna that some feel should be replaced. So we're going to be looking at that as well. We also are going to continue to see what happens with our request that Virginia and Cross Street be reviewed by Virginia Department of Transportation for a 4-way stop. It's not sounding promising, but that's where that is. And apparently that has to do with the rules that they have for what constitutes requiring a 4-way stop. The arteries have to be of similar sizes. And there are a number of other things that work against us in this, and yet we're still going to ask for it. So we shall see eventually on that. The other thing that the Planning Commission is going to be doing that's very important is we are going to be working to sketch out an economic development workshop, hopefully to be done in May, hopefully for council, other interested entities in town who are involved in business and business development. We have a lot of legwork to do in advance, meeting with various people from adjacent localities like Warsaw and Tappahannock and Matthews and Whitestone, who've done amazing things in terms of economic development in their small localities, to find out what their stories have been, what they've done, what has worked, what hasn't worked, where they've gotten funds, those kinds of things. We need to check as well with the Economic Development Division for Virginia to see what they recommend. And we're going to put together a workshop that hopefully will serve as a bit of an incubator for economic development in Urbanna. We're very excited about this. We've talked with the mayor and with Roy and with Garth about this possibility. So we hope that you'll be excited about that as well as we continue to work on this. Clearly, we have a lot to do. So again, our next meeting is Tuesday evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mary, I have a question for you, please.
Yes.
There's an economic development committee, which includes myself and a couple volunteers. Are we going to be included with you on that? Because there's several things that we're already working on.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And
Okay.
yeah, absolutely. So if that's something that you want to, again, the Planning Commission meetings are not closed meetings. They're scheduled to occur the second Tuesday of every month. And council, Marjorie, such as yourself, the other people who are working with you are certainly welcome to attend those meetings.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for the clarification. Okay, we have anything on the cigarette tax board?
Well, they meet quarterly. And of course, we don't meet this month. But we have had 3 payments. And I just estimating what it was, $2,250. That sound right? Which we ain't getting rich, but it's our money.
It's $2,250 we didn't have.
That's right.
All right.
And a poke in the eye with a sharp stick.
There you go.
Okay, very good. All right, now at this point, if we've got all of this covered, no further comment on these reports, let's move into public comment period. Martha, did anybody sign up for comment?
Nope, no one has signed up.
Last chance, does anyone want to comment on it?
Talk to us, but Mike, you're bound to have something to say.
We're doing everything right. They have nothing to say here.
I guess, that's a good one.
He took that out of there, please. Okay. So if there is no public comment, I'm not going to close public comment. It's closed. Okay. So we don't have to respond to that because there's nothing to respond to. Move on into old business. And we start out with the Virginia opioid suit settlement. Andrea, is that your bailiwick?
I sent out some documents several days ago just to give more detail in case anyone is interested, but the Attorney General approved an agreement, a settlement agreement with some of the pharmaceutical manufacturers. The way that that settlement was structured is that there would be created an opioid abatement fund. It's currently existing. And then also funds will go directly to counties and cities for the purpose of addressing opioid addiction in the community. There are 9 towns that were named in the settlement, but they are essentially in the same position that we are, in that any funds that we would request would come from Middlesex County. So we have two ways of obtaining money, one to request a share from Middlesex County, and the other is to make an application to the opioid abatement fund for funds related to addressing opioid addiction in our community.
Thank you. Is that it? Do we have any comments or questions about that?
I assume the funds would have to be used for some aspect of opioid addiction.
Yes, sir.
Could those funds be used to get Narcan into the county,
Yes.
where I think that's a huge necessity. Most people may not realize it, but opioid addiction is kind of huge in Middlesex County. So,
Yeah, can I address that?
Go ahead, Garth.
That, and you're absolutely right, but that is not something that the town itself can get involved in. The sheriff's office is involved in that, the distribution of Narcan, and so is the rescue squad.
okay.
We don't have the training or the you know, the ability to get into that.
Okay. I just didn't know if it needed
Yeah.
to be purchased for like,
Now, we could.
not
we
so
could
much the
possibly-
town,
we
but for
could
the rescue
possibly
squad.
apply for a grant to supply the material.
right. Okay.
But those entities are being supplied by the county already. So
Right.
we don't need to put ourselves in the middle of that.
Right.
So basically, this is an information session.
I
So we
just know
don't-
Narcan is really important and the
Absolutely.
opioid issue in the county is big.
But there's no action for us to take at this time.
You may want to reach out to the appropriate officials in Middlesex County.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Okay, do we have a Blue Water Trail update?
We do.
Should I start sharing?
Yes.
Well, I can share, yeah.
Back in November, we started talking about the a proposed Blue Water Trail in the creek. And Larry Tuning, Dan Sneed, Garth, and I have been kind of looking at it. And we have run into some problems with, if we have this trail, how we identify it, how we put signs up or buoys in. And we found out that the VMRC looks askance at putting buoys out there without all sorts of notifications. And the difficulty is that if somebody is in a kayak or in a boat, they're going to be quite a ways away from these where we would put the signs, so they couldn't read them very easily. So we were trying to come up with an alternative to that, at least to begin with. And what we did was we talked to Jackie Richardson, who's the senior planning manager, and Kurt Smith at the Middle Peninsula Planning District. And they have this website that they show different trails, water trails around, like around Matthews, there's one. And there are different places where there are. If you go up here to Urbanna, down to Urbanna, and open it up a little bit. Okay, and if you can see here, they've kind of penciled in what could be a trail, but they haven't filled it out very much. And we discussed it with them and wondered if we could get involved in their website. And if we could figure out how Urbanna could have its own little activity here. We could have Urbanna, and looking at it, we could have an intermediate, an advanced, and a beginner's area. If we did that, if you look at your map, if you look from 9, which is right about here, to 15, which is about here, that's all very protected area. And, you know, beginners could be there, so you wouldn't be competing with boats. Up in here, it's gonna get a little shallow, so it's not gonna be like, you can take your boat up there too much. This area in here could be the intermediate area. It's still protected water, but you know, it's a little bit more aggressive. You can't see it, it's here, but Larry was thinking that we could include the cannery up here. And then if you came out here, then you would be in the advanced area. So we'd have 3 different areas. I mean, it'd be really kind of neat. You could say, oh, pick the range that you want. And what these folks have said is we could take our little map here and they could put the locations around, and then we could have historic locations for our Urbanna thing and have a write-up on what all these things applied to. And once we did that, they have the ability to, as long as we don't have a set of signs up, they have the ability to take drone footage and show it on, you know, a website. So you could say, okay, this is where the cannery is, and this is what it's going to look like when you get there. We could also make a map of that activity and put it at any place. You could put it at the tobacco warehouse. We could put it, yeah, any place.
The marina.
Yeah.
But the difficulty is, you know, we can't stick signs all around the creek because they'd be hard to read and we'd have hard getting approval for them. But we could make copies of maps and have them distributed at the marina or things like that. So that's kind of what we're looking at. This is not, it's not gonna, right at this point, they're not gonna charge us for any of this stuff.
Oh,
Yeah,
so let's do it.
right. And if we want to put signs, not signs, but big placards up like at the marina, we could certainly do that. And Larry would be the author of all the things that we were going to write about. But it looks to us like this is just a real win-win. No cost, good going. So if everybody's in agreement, we'll just keep moving along with that.
Forward.
Okay, that's our,
One more thing,
So Larry, what you-
the app,
It's talking to my microphone.
Maybe you mentioned this, no, we didn't, but, how they would know where they were was they would have an app.
Yeah.
And, that would be numbered. They know where to go. And then they fill it up on their phone. Now, how anybody uses the phone to kayak, I don't know, but that's what they
You put it in
said.
a little pouch. That's what I
Yeah,
wanted.
waterproof pouch.
And
Yeah,
last time I did that, I had to replace my phone.
yeah, well, we're not gonna insure anybody's phones, you know that.
No.
But that's the other thing about it, that's how they would use the numbers, know where to go, and know where they were.
Right.
As I understand, is that right?
Yes. So, you know, is that GPS coordinates or something like that that they would
Right.
draw?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of like geocaching, where you can go to a particular geo coordinates and it tells you what's there. So yeah, something that's been used for quite a while.
Pretty neat. So we don't need to take any motion on this.
no,
we
no,
can
this
move
was
forward.
just to let you know kind of where we were going, and we've been working on it.
Well, thank you, Larry. Thank you, Roy.
Yeah, thank you for the update. Okay, let's move on to Virginia Street Dock and Pier. Is that you, Garth?
I don't think that we need any motion. I think, you know, I pretty much covered that in my report,
Yeah.
that it's coming, it's gonna be on the next meeting's agenda. We're gonna have a public hearing and have a discussion about several options
Okay,
that y'all have been looking at.
Okay, we've already covered that and just reiterated. Thank you. Okay, that's all we have on the list for old business. Is there any other old business? All right, then let's move on to new business. It says 2022 Town Council Working Session Monthly Meeting Calendar.
Okay, this past year in 2021, for various reasons, we canceled a couple meetings and rescheduled. And so we wanted to get ahead of the game and kind of make sure that our meetings were scheduled appropriately so that the public would know. And so this is just a list, and we meet the second and fourth Thursday of every month. The work session is the second week, and the monthly meeting is on the fourth week. And where it really gets a little sketchy is in November and December because of Thanksgiving and Christmas. So the change would be, and we're recommending that there be no work session meeting in November, and the monthly meeting would be on the 17th. So there would be one meeting in November and one meeting in December, which would be held December 15th. Kind of same way that we had kind of worked it out last year.
Okay. Do you have any?
Well, I'll make a motion to accept the proposed schedule for 2022.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, then let's call for a vote. Marjorie?
Yes.
Bill Wilson?
Yes.
Larry Judy?
Yes.
Bill Smith?
Yes,
Mary Hanson?
Yes.
Mayor votes yes. Motion passes. Thank you very much. That was easy. Okay, at this point, we need to move into a closed session. Let's see who's got the verbiage.
I don't.
Oh, okay, you have it.
I have it. Oh, here we go.
Mayor, before we move into closed session, and I meant to bring this up under old business, but I just kind of an announcement to give an update. At the previous meeting, Larry had asked for us to look into having signs changed and work with VDOT to get the signs changed to recognize the Beryl R. Newman Bridge. And Beryl R. Newman was a
War Hero
Medal of Honor recipient. And we are in the process of having those signs placed on both sides of the bridge, as well as the one at the end of town up here that recognizes the street as Beryl R. Newman Road or Highway, I think is what they call it. But anyway, so we're in the process of moving forward with that.
And you were gonna add Medal of Honor or something.
Yes, yes. That's what the sign is gonna have, his name, and then right underneath it, Medal of Honor recipient.
That's wonderful.
Thank you, Mayor.
Mhm.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. So you want to read it then?
I move to go into closed meeting pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711A29, discussion of the award of public contract involving the expenditure of public funds, including interviews of bidders or offerers and discussion of the terms or scope of such contract, where discussion in an open session would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy of the public body, Tabor Pool Park Pool Construction.
Need a second.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Discussion? No, let's vote.
Yes.
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 Mary?
yes.
Bill? Yes. Mayor says yes. Thank you very much. We are now going into closed session.
Is there a motion to authorize the town administrator to sign a contract with Cox for the demolition of the Tabor Park Pool and associated structures, subject to the final review and approval by the town attorney in an amount not to exceed $60,000?
Second. No, you-
I mean,
So moved by Bill, seconded by Marjorie. Okay, comments? Vote.
yes.
Marjorie, yes. Bill,
Yeah.
Mary,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes,
Mary,
Yes,
okay, Mary, yes. Okay,
Is there a motion to authorize the town administrator and the pool committee to move forward with negotiating contracts in an amount not to exceed 1.5 million for the construction of a new pool and to execute any necessary contracts subject to final review and approval by the town attorney?
motion. Marjorie moved, second.
Second.
Yes, Bill, second. Okay, vote. Marjorie votes yes.
Yes.
Mary?
As I interpret what you say, yes.
Yes. Bill Smith
yes.
and Mary Hanson
yes.
and Mary votes yes. Motion passed. Thank you very much.
Motion to adjourn.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have to vote, Margie. Don't get it wrong. Yes.
Yes.
Bill? Yes. Larry?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Bill? Mary?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. We are adjourned.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks.
Hope you guys are better.
Mr. Smith, I hope you feel better.
Hope Susan.
And your wife.
Yeah.
It's her, it's not me. I feel fine. I just.
Get better.